So welcome to Joe's Corner. A little upset about some things, like usual, but I'm also happy about some others, right? Usually, I remember somebody told me years ago, and when I was a kid, that if you can get one person to listen to you, just one, you can make a difference. And I told everybody about the war when it was going to start, exactly how it was going to start. I said that Russia was going to start this war the same way Germany did with the lie. And I was spot on. Man, was I spot on. I also said there was going to be a food shortage. And I told some of you to prepare. Some of you actually listened. And I'm grateful for that part. Some of you probably wanted to listen, but couldn't because you just didn't have the money. And I feel for you on that. I know how you feel, right? And there's some things that are going on in the United States that are in turmoil. And by the way, I don't expect anybody to join my live stream. I really don't. I know it says I got 30 subscribers, but I should have 3 million by now, much as I've been right on about everything. And I mean, spot on. I'm calling things down to the detail. And it's really not that hard to call. I just pay attention. I don't allow my thought process to be influenced by right or left wings. I don't allow my thought process to be influenced by doing the wrong thing and getting accustomed, trying to make for sure that the wrong thing is now accepted. And maybe I'll get into that later another time. So, you know, when this war broke out, when Russia invaded Ukraine, there was a lot of American congressmen on the right side, especially, that were either taking money from Russia, including Mitch McConnell, quite a few others, Ted Cruz apparently, quite a few others beyond that, because Ted Cruz loves to make pro-Russian videos and how the military is bad. Apparently, they're not the bad that he was describing. And, so they were mad when the left started supporting Zelensky. And Zelensky is trying to save his country. He doesn't have a choice. His people, they want to fight. They don't want to give up. They don't want to join Russia. They enjoyed the way they were living, was just fine to them. Some of the YouTube videos that you watch, a couple of the girls from there, even a couple of the guys, they were love showing their country around. They love talking about their people. When they did live videos like this, they took questions and answers. They were very hospitable. So what the misinformation campaign on the right was trying to do was trying to say that Zelensky was a bad man, that, they toppled the previous regime. So they're trying to put some misinformation out there. So just to give you an extreme brief summary, they had a Russian appointed leader in Ukraine who didn't win the election, who stole the election. Well, the people there weren't tolerating it. They rebelled. He got on a helicopter and fled. Now, the mastermind behind that stealing the election, Trump hired for him. And they started doing the same kind of campaign. They started doing the same kind of misinformation campaign. And it's been proven, I'm not trying to be mean, but you Trump supporters, you fall easily for lies and misinformation because you hope it's so. You want it to be so. You need something to be mad at. And you left-wing extremists too have caused a lot of that guilt with Antifa and Black Lives Matter when you guys looted and rioted. They use you as a balancing beam to justify what they're doing because of your violence, because of your incomparable, idiotic things that you did, even burning down black businesses, costing the city extra money because you got to repair those cop cars. They have to repair the jails that you tried to burn. They got to, companies got to repair the ATM machines, the banks that you smashed. That money's got to come from somewhere. All you did was take jobs away from everybody. And that's the one thing that's hard to come by right now. Even though the economy, they say, is good in America and Biden's added a lot of jobs, it's the good jobs that are hard to come by. The good ones that you can call a career. In America, you never know how long your job's going to last. Unfortunately, that's just true. And I've seen people that have good jobs and money, and they look down on people that are poor. Bible says you shouldn't do that. Matter of fact, I think the Bible points out that Sodom and Gomorrah, and one of the verses say that made themselves fat, but to help the poor not. Here you are enriching yourselves, but you're not doing anything to enrich the community. So when you see people sleeping in tents and you see other things, you get mad and you want them to go away, but there's no going away. There's no place for them to go away. And, when America has got this campaign against the poor, and the poor knows this, and they're trying to escape. So the one thing they try to do is they do drugs. And it's just this vicious cycle over and over again. It just lapses in on itself. But to get back on track, what the right wing is trying to do in Ukraine with Zelensky is they're trying to say he's not a hero. Now they're trying to say he's got secret money and stuff put away. If he does, everybody else does. And the thing is, if you're mad about Zelensky not being a hero because you're mad that people are calling Trump supporters, you guys are calling, Putin, and you're praising Putin. And some of you Republicans went on TV that did that, and that's so shameful, unbelievably shameful. And the thing is, Republicans are the party that's supposed to believe in Jesus Christ, and you guys clearly don't know Jesus at all. You guys use Christianity as a backbone for your faith, and your faith is not in the right place, unfortunately. And to discredit Zelensky at this time, trying to say he's not a hero, and I've seen some really bad videos out there, and some people got so many subscribers, and anything they say, the subscribers don't fact check. And I have a lot of my older videos are not on YouTube. I've had to upload them on other sites, and maybe I'll give you information on that, because YouTube was pulling my stuff down before. When I was getting close to 100 subscribers, they started getting after me. And it was the same few people that kept flagging me. They were mad, and they could stay mad. I don't care. You can stay mad to the end of your life. It won't affect me at all. And so when they do these videos, they're not telling you the truth about everything. They're just being very generic about it, or they're straight up lying. And they won't tell you why the former leader of the Ukraine had to flee. They won't tell you any of that. They'll try to say, well, this is the American puppet. This is the American, had nothing to do with that election. They had nothing to do with it. And as American government too, let's say that you as a Trump supporter, you guys are totally in power, and somebody had foreign elections overseas. You guys got your favorites that you'd want to win too, right? Like Putin, unfortunately, Putin. And so a lot of Americans, they fall for this misinformation. And so some of my older videos I showed were NTD and online YouTube, and they finally got demonetized after I kept reporting them. Because they were just lying, and they weren't telling the full truth. So during the election, when they find Trump's ballots in the trash, they'll say, well, they found like 130 Trump ballots in the trash. And so they do a video and talk, look, you're throwing these Trump ballots out. Well, when you actually fact check it and everything, yeah, they found 130 Trump ballots in the trash, but they also found 130 Biden Trump ballots in the trash too. But they didn't sell that part. So when the right wing, during the whole entire election, they decided that they were going to lie about everything and claim voter fraud. Well, it turned out the only people that were doing voter fraud was the Trump people. The very loudest people that complained about voter fraud was doing the voter fraud. And you Trump supporters just laughed like a good little monkey, a little monkey with the little chimes doing, that's what you guys were doing. It didn't even occur to you that your morality was being watched. It didn't occur to you about any of that. Some of you said that when Biden was going to take charge, that he was going to be tough on China, he was going to be tough on Russia. Then when he was tough on Russia, you guys still complained. Tell you the truth, it don't matter what the left wing does, good or bad, how they do it, you guys are going to complain endlessly. You're never going to like it. You're never going to accept it. Just like the borders down south. Some of you say, well, he's not building a wall. He's not doing this. Trump had a wall. There's literal videos of the wall already up and Mexicans jumping across that damn wall. That wall did nothing. So all y'all build a wall. I'm sorry, but you're dumb as a doornail. You're stupid, you're dumb, you're stupid, you're dumb. And you're going to have to get that through your head how stupid and dumb you are. Stupid and dumb. You're stupid and dumb. You see these videos, they're on YouTube. People are jumping over the wall they said that was unclimbable. They climbed it. The wall they said they couldn't get through, they're getting through. Whether you like it or not, the only way that you're going to stop Mexicans from coming across that border, South Americans coming across that damn border, is you're going to have to stabilize Mexico. You're going to have to get rid of the corruption down there. You're going to have to start going after the drug cartels. But more importantly, you're going to have to start going on the rich people who can afford to do all this cocaine. Some of you Republicans have been rumored that you're in the drug business. You shouldn't be in part of that rumor. Some of you didn't even argue with it. You said nothing. The headlines were out there. So if you're one of those hard right rich people that hate the left wing and don't like what the South border is doing, but you're sitting there snorting cocaine, guess where that stuff's coming from? Heck, most of you don't even realize that some of that pot you're smoking is coming from down there. Some of you pot smokers are contributing to that. So you Republicans who time and time again lie, try to steal the election, you assault the Capitol on January 6th, your campaign and misinformation is not going unnoticed. Some of that was happening here in Asia and the Philippines. And when you do that kind of stuff, guess who else is watching? China and Russia. And while they're watching, they're telling these people, they're writing their own history about what's happening. They're trying to rewrite the history of what's happening here in the Philippines about some of the past presidents. And when they do that, they don't write it in American favor. See, all you Republicans and all you Trump supporters don't realize how bad you made yourselves look on a global scale. And you don't realize that you can't look bad on a global scale. Because now they're trying to compare what Russia's doing to what America did. They're saying, we don't want either one of you. They're running to China. So you Republicans who said that Joe Biden was going to be a Chinese puppet, that he was owned by China, you inadvertently, with all your lies and your conceit and your ignorance, you inadvertently were 10 times worse than what you thought Biden would ever be with your misinformation and your lies. And you created such aurora of this misinformation that you hurt your own agenda because you didn't realize those lies were being watched. They were being noticed, and they were being used, and they were being used to write other people's history about what's happening. So now instead of other countries supporting America, they want to run at China because they think China's great, because China don't allow any kind of information, truth or misinformation. So you got Filipinos, you got Asians, even Russians that think America is bad. Look what America invaded Iraq. America invaded Afghanistan. Look what they did over there. That's what they're saying. That's all they got to say. That's all they got to say. Because when they say that, it paints this picture that America went over there and just bombed and leveled cities and did everything else. And it just wasn't true. You know, I think in Iraq, they still get to vote. They get to pick their leaders in Iraq because of America. America didn't go over there bombing everything. America didn't go over there leveling cities. They went straight to the point, which I don't even agree with the war to begin with. There was no weapons of mass destruction. I'm just going to come out and say that. Matter of fact, a side note, when I was in college, there was a special forces guy. Now, sometimes I hear special forces. I replaced the word special with special forces because this ignorant a-hole was sitting next to me in the history class, and we were talking about the Iraq war. And he said, yeah, there's weapons of mass destruction. You know, we found them over there. I was like, no, you didn't. They've been over the news. There was no weapons of mass destruction. And he pointed to this little boo-boo on his leg. And he said, don't tell me there's no weapons of mass destruction. He pointed to this little boo-boo on his leg. I said, a weapon of mass destruction caused a little boo-boo on your leg? Well, we should just rush you right to the UN to testify. Oh, he was so mad. But to get back on track, what I was trying to say is that when we were in Iraq, we built schools, we cleaned schools out. Even Mosul, We found a school that was just full of trash, right? Because when the war broke out, some of the government infrastructure failed. And when our chain of command found about it, they hired a local Iraqi who had tractors and cleaning equipment, went in there, cleaned the school out, and they reopened the school for everybody. When we in Iraq, the women were free. There was some kind of policing going on. We made for sure that the local governors, the local people appointed were, leaders of the community. And the same thing with Afghanistan. Even though I don't agree with Afghanistan because the Pentagon made their mistakes, and you Pentagon people that made all those mistakes in Afghanistan and Iraq, you're the reason to blame for a lot what's going on now because your priorities were wrong. You're too busy worried about making money for the military infrastructure, but you weren't worried about doing the right thing, and it's costing the whole road now your ignorance. And I warned everybody when I was in Iraq that that was going to happen. Matter of fact, right before the war kicked off, we were all staged there in Kuwait, and the commander circled everybody around and said, "Anybody got anything to say?" And people started saying their bit that we're only going to be there for 4 months. We're going to get relieved. I said, "No, no, no, no." And everybody got mad at me for saying this, and I said it right there. We're going to be here 10 years plus, multiple deployments, and some of you are not going to come home. And people got mad at me talking about, no, we were in Kuwait. This is not the same kind of war. This is not going to be the same kind of war as when we freed Kuwait. It's not going to be the same. You guys are going to have to get it through your heads. A lot of us are not going to be the same. I wasn't the same. I might not ever recover from all the stuff that's happened to me. I mean, literally, I got to have sleeping medicines, the damn tranquilizers to get me to sleep just 3 hours at night. 2 is my max most of the time. I wake up and I might get to go back down and sleep for another hour or 2 if I'm lucky. But the point I'm trying to make is these foreign governments and these foreign printing like Manila Times that talk bad about America, people are reading that. And so they're saying we shouldn't listen to America. They're just as bad as Russia. Let's go to China. Well, Manila Times, people like Roberto Tiglo, they don't understand that when America was in Afghanistan, they built schools for women too. Women got to go to school. They got to have their own jobs, their own freedom. They didn't have to wear the veil. Even when there's a news story out now that Taliban's making women that read the news wear complete headdresses now. Before it wasn't like that. Now they don't even get to go to school or, an advanced school. That's not cool. So at least when America was in Afghanistan, the women were free, but nobody's going to report that. China's not going to report that. They're just going to report that, human rights at the same time while committing human rights. And that's the key. The key is, can they spread enough misinformation or barely just tell the generic truth about something where people are going to follow it to get people to turn away from America? And that's what's happening. And so while you YouTubers out there are trying to think you're clever and you're making these videos about these high gas prices, which you don't want to be honest about, and some Americans don't understand that it's just not America. It's just not America. It's the whole world. And I warned everybody 3 months ago this is going to happen. I said there's going to be food shortages. Some of you are going to have to live without eating 6 cheeseburgers, driving around not so much. That was my exact words. If you go back to my live videos 3 months ago, that's what I said. I also said exactly how the war was going to go out. The bottom line is you right-wing extremists and your YouTube channels are causing global harm, and you don't even realize it, and you can't see the big picture because of your own egos. Not egos. And I know some people, I forgot the kid's name. He does all those speeches. I have a bad memory problem with names sometimes. Please forgive me. That's part of my things I'm going to the VA about. But anyway, the kid's great. He does speeches. He does all kinds of wonderful, statistics and stuff. Ben Shapiro. But 1 out of 10 videos of his will be purely Republican. You can't even afford to do that anymore. I just saw a video of him where he was saying that the person who owns a factory risk more than the workers. He took the insta side of the rich. He always will. And that's the problem. You can't do that. The factory worker will always risk more than the owner. The factory worker is the one sweating on the floor. He's the one risking his life. There's industrial accidents. There's, the heart issues on your body. He's the one that's got to come in and put the 12 hours a day. And some owners might too, but they don't got to sweat on the floor. And his argument was, well, they take the loans out for the equipment. They have to buy that, and the factory don't work. They're the ones that got to bear it. Well, that's true for both sides. That's just not them. That's just not the owner. That's true for the workers too, because the factory goes under. A lot of their loans go. The cars go. Like what happened to me in America when I lost my job. I couldn't afford to pay my car no more, and they took it from me. Unfortunately, when they took my car, that's when I started getting job offers. I've always said that in America, it'd be really nice if there was a car dealer, manufacturer, loan, whatever company out there, that if you lose your job and you're actively looking, they won't take your car. So say it takes you 2 months to go get a car. To get a job. Well, they just extend you. So say your last payment was going to be February 2022, right? But it took you 2 months to find a job, and it took you a couple of months, an extra month to get your paychecks rolling, because sometimes you don't get that 2 weeks in. It might not be a full paycheck. Well, all you got to do is extend the loans out 2-3 payments. That's it. So instead of being, February 2022, they can make it March, April, May. May would have been your last payment. Your car ain't got to be repoed. There ain't got to be a lot of paperwork. You get to keep your car, and the loan company still makes money. How hard would that be? But they don't do that. They're greedy. They don't understand their own greedy causes them problems. But that's what's happening in America now too. Even though you got jobs, people are saying, I can't afford nothing. And now there's suspicion over there with this food shortages that some companies are just raising prices. And that's true. And there should be some kind of government agency to look into that. There's some companies out there that might not have any products coming in from overseas. That's all. They might not even have a high shipping cost, but they're just raising prices. You hope that's not true, but it's possible. I know during the outbreak here, Rago Duterte, he said that he wasn't going to allow prices to be raised. The difference between, this system of government and that one is he put a price cap on everything, wouldn't allow it. But you try to do that in America, every rich person like Ben Shapiro on up will throw a hissy fit, because their goal is not you, the American people. The goal is to establish, to make for sure the rich stay rich. Unfortunately, and I've also done a video about the red versus blue, and that's one of the things that got to stop. People got to stop being dishonest with one another. People got to stop being violent. And I was filming NTD, the comment section, and one after another right-wing extremist was talking about killing, murdering left-wing people, left-wing politicians, or the group itself. They don't understand, just because you politically disagree with somebody don't mean you get to pull a gun out and shoot them. But they were doing that. I posted those videos. They're up on another website. Maybe another video I will show some of that stuff. And I posted. NTD was so dishonest. They weren't even watching their comment section. They were supporting a lot of the murderous threats that people were doing. And that's what right wing is now. When I look at the right wing, the Trump supporters, I see nothing but insurrectionist murderers. When I look at the left wing, the radical groups like Antifa and Black Lives Matter, I see the same type of people. Murderous thugs. I tell everybody all the time, stop calling yourself a damn Democrat. Stop calling yourself a damn Republican. It's stupid. You're going to be wrong about half the issues half the time. People need to run on issues. What you plan on fixing. What your goal is to fix it. What's your plan of action? How you plan on proving something? How do you plan on, changing a system where it works? And I've always said that if you got a goal, let's say to fix a certain system, we'll just say, we'll label it A. Say A isn't working. Something's wrong with A. And your goal is to fix A. And you come with a plan of action to fix A, but that plan of action don't work. There's nothing wrong with saying, hey, look, we tried this, it didn't work, but our goal is still the same. So we're going to change a few things to try to make for sure we meet our goals. Politicians don't know how to do that. They stick to their guns. Then they'll start pointing fingers at everybody else why it ain't working. There's no need to. So long as you have this right-wing extremism, even left-wing extremism to extent, in America, you're hurting America. You Trump supporters have blatantly hurt America. You realize by now, one year, almost 2 years in, Trump had a lot of people either quit or get fired underneath him. Biden's been one? They just had the White House speaker just step down and go do something else. She was amazing. He couldn't keep a White House speaker because they were trapped and cornered. He lied about so much stuff, they didn't know what to say sometimes. They're afraid to say something. They're afraid to give an answer, yes or no, to something because he changed. He lied about everything, and it made them look stupid. How many people under Trump have gotten arrested, investigated? It had nothing to do with the left. It had something to do with the law. How many Trump supporters have gotten in trouble for, flagrantly voter fraud now? Even Taylor Greene. Turns out she had 2 houses. She might not have been using her proper house to either run or vote. She committed voter fraud. And you got Americans like me that watch this criminal activity going on and people ain't being prosecuted full extent. But meanwhile, you click on a police video, a guy gets pulled over, wrongfully accused of something, gets tackled to the ground, gets paralyzed, tasered at a gas station, just filling up his damn bike. Turned out he wasn't even part of the group, apparently. Gets blown up. Police don't want to do nothing. They investigate it themselves, find no wrongdoing, of course, which is ridiculous. A system that needs to be fixed. And you got people like me, like, I don't have faith in the system no more. At any given time, a cop can come up to anybody in America and just ruin the guy's life. And he gets more time in jail for doing nothing. But meanwhile, some of you rich people out there, political leaders, are committing heinous crimes against America itself, and you're walking free. You know what it does for morale in America? Morale in America is at an all-time low. And I did another video on that. PTSD is going to come around. People are going to be very depressed. People are going to be a little bit suicidal. At a time where we can't afford to spend money on alcohol and drugs, some of you right-wing extremists are pushing people that way. You want to secure the border, but you want to make everybody depressed as possible, don't you? You're hurting yourselves and your own agenda and how you're going about it, man. So for all you right-wing tribute people out there that are doing these videos, praising Putin, saying Zelensky's bad, saying Trump's good, Biden's bad, you're just hurting yourself. And once you say that, somebody from China, somebody overseas is going to see that. They're going to click it. They're going to use it. And they're going to say, this is why we should never, ever look up to America anymore. And you are not going to take responsibility for anything that you said or did. You're just going to lie, misinformation, and you're going to point to the person that you hate the most, the far left, and you're going to blame them for something that you caused. That's what you're going to do. Anyway, thank you for watching Joe's Corner. If you watch this, I'm just putting this down because someday somebody from history is going to come across my videos. And you're going to see just how brilliant I was. And I don't like to toot my own horn, but I'm not brilliant because the things that anybody could be like me. You just got to pay attention. You just got to do the right thing. It's not that hard to be smart in life. You don't need to be reading books. You don't need to get fancy college degrees. It'll help if you read some books anyway. But you don't need all that fancy degrees and stuff to be smart. You just got to do the right thing in life. You just got to be smart enough to catch when you're being lied to and make for sure you don't participate in that kind of stuff. That's how you make yourself change. When you can make that change yourself personally, you grow as a human being and you start feeling a little bit better about yourself. Anyway, thank you for watching Joe's Corner. I wish everybody safe health, and I hope all y'all are doing well. Everybody, from left to right wing to center, whatever you want to call yourself, just do well in life, man. Just do the right thing. That's all you got to do. Anyway, take care.